Hello and welcome to Curiosity Chronicles. Today we are talking about 10 of the strangest cults in history. Just a fair warning, today's list gets a little dark. Let's get started. Starting at number 10 is the Thuggee. In the annals of history, few cults have stirred as much intrigue as the Thuggee. Originating in India in the 14th century, this secretive group worshipped the Hindu goddess Kali and believed in the divine mandate to rob and murder travelers as sacrifices to their deity. With their distinctive modus operandi of strangling victims with a ceremonial cloth called a rumal. The Thuggee operated under the guise of innocent travelers, making them all the more terrifying. They would typically distract their targets with engaging conversation, then ambush them once secluded. They would often mutilate and bury the corpses once they were finished in order to avoid detection. Their reign of terror spanned centuries, with estimates suggesting they may have been responsible for millions of deaths. British efforts to eradicate the Thuggee led to their eventual demise in the 19th century, but their legacy of fear and fascination lives on, immortalized in tales of mystery and mayhem. For number 9, we are stepping into the bizarre world of the Family International, formerly known as the Children of God. Founded in the late 1960s by David Berg, this cult preached a peculiar blend of Christianity and free love, advocating for promiscuity as a means of spreading God's love. Members, known as Family, engaged in unconventional practices like flirty fishing, where women were encouraged to use sex to recruit new followers. Children were raised in communal settings and often subjected to disturbing teachings, including sexualization from a young age. Despite facing scrutiny and controversy, the Family International still exists today, albeit in a rebranded form. Number 8 is a cult with a very dark past. Enter the mysterious world of the Movement for the Restoration of the Ten Commandments of God, a cult that emerged in Uganda in 1989. Led by charismatic figures like Credonia Morinde and Joseph Kibwetir, this group preached a strict interpretation of Christianity centered around the impending apocalypse. Believing that the world would end in the year 2000, they amassed followers by promising salvation through adherence to their strict doctrine. However, when the prophesied doomsday failed to materialize, tensions within the cult reached a boiling point. In a shocking turn of events in 2000, at least 778 members met a tragic end in what authorities initially believed to be a mass suicide. Yet, investigations later revealed evidence of mass murder, exposing the dark underbelly of this enigmatic cult and leaving behind unanswered questions shrouded in mystery. Number 7 sounds more like a science fiction movie than it does a cult. Dive into the eccentric world of Raelism, also known as the Raelian movement, a UFO religion founded in the 1970s by Claude Vorilhon, who later renamed himself Rael. Embracing a blend of science fiction and spirituality, Raelians believe that extraterrestrial beings, known as Elohim, created life on Earth through advanced genetic engineering. Their beliefs include the promotion of world peace, sexual freedom, and the pursuit of pleasure. One of the most eyebrow-raising aspects of Raelism is their claim of human cloning, with Rael himself declaring the birth of several cloned babies, although these claims remain unverified. Despite facing criticism and skepticism, the Raelian movement continues to attract followers worldwide, captivating the imagination with its otherworldly beliefs and challenging conventional notions of religion and existence. For number 6, we are going to talk about another doomsday cult. Explore the enigmatic world of the Order of the Solar Temple, a secretive cult that blended elements of Christianity, New Age beliefs, and occultism. Founded in Switzerland in the 1980s by Luc Jouret and Joseph Di Mambro, this group prophesied an apocalyptic end scenario involving a transition to another planet. Members were drawn into a web of esoteric rituals and teachings, including the notion of achieving spiritual enlightenment through death. The Order's mystique was shattered in the 1990s when a series of shocking events unfolded, including mass suicides in Switzerland and Canada. These tragedies exposed the dark underbelly of the cult, revealing a tangled web of manipulation and coercion. Despite its demise, the Order of the Solar Temple remains a chilling reminder of the dangers of fanaticism and the allure of esoteric beliefs taken to the extreme. Number 5 is probably the most famous cult we will be talking about today. Delve into the chilling saga of the Manson family, led by the infamous Charles Manson. Operating during the late 1960s, this cult-like group was notorious for their grisly murders, including the infamous Tate LaBianca killings in 1969. Manson, a charismatic but deeply disturbed individual, manipulated his followers into carrying out these heinous acts, believing they would trigger an apocalyptic race war he dubbed Helter Skelter. The Manson family lived in a commune-like setting, isolated from mainstream society, and immersed in Manson's delusional teachings. Their crimes shocked the world and left an indelible mark on American culture, sparking fascination and horror in equal measure. Despite Manson's eventual imprisonment, the Manson family's legacy continues to intrigue and disturb, serving as a cautionary tale about the dangers of unchecked charisma and the allure of violent extremism. Coming in at number 4 is the Branch Davidians. The Branch Davidians was a religious sect that gained notoriety in the 1990s. Led by David Koresh, this group believed in a blend of Christian theology and apocalyptic prophecy. Nestled in a compound in Waco, Texas, the Branch Davidians lived in seclusion, preparing for the end times they believed were imminent. However, their isolation and Koresh's charismatic leadership drew the attention of law enforcement, leading to a deadly confrontation in 1993. The siege on the Branch Davidian compound ended in a catastrophic fire, resulting in the deaths of dozens of members, including women and children. The events at Waco shocked the world and sparked debate about government overreach and religious freedom. Number 3 brings us to another dark chapter of history. Explore the harrowing tale of the People's Temple, led by the charismatic but ultimately delusional Jim Jones. Beginning as a social justice-oriented church in the 1950s, the People's Temple later descended into a cult-like organization characterized by paranoia and control. Jones preached a message of racial equality and socialism, attracting a diverse group of followers to his compound in Guyana, known as Jonestown. However, the utopian vision he promised crumbled into a nightmare on November 18, 1978, when Jones orchestrated a mass suicide murder of over 900 members, including children, using cyanide-laced flavor aid. The tragedy shocked the world and remains one of the largest loss of American civilian lives in a deliberate act until the September 11th attacks. Coming in at number 2 is Aum Shinrikyo. Aum Shinrikyo was a Japanese doomsday cult that shocked the world with its deadly acts of terrorism. Founded by Shoko Asahara in the 1980s, Aum Shinrikyo blended elements of Buddhism, Hinduism, and apocalyptic prophecy to create a bizarre belief system. Members underwent rigorous indoctrination and practiced extreme asceticism, all under the watchful eye of their enigmatic leader. However, Aum Shinrikyo's notoriety reached its peak in 1995 when they carried out a sarin gas attack on the Tokyo subway system, killing 13 people and injuring thousands. This act of terrorism brought global attention to the cult's activities, including their attempts to develop and use biological and chemical weapons. The downfall of Aum Shinrikyo led to the arrest and eventual execution of Asahara, but their legacy of terror continues to haunt the collective consciousness. And finally, coming in at number 1 is Heaven's Gate. Heaven's Gate was a cult founded by Marshall Applewhite and Bonnie Nettles in the 1970s. This group, blending elements of Christianity with UFO conspiracy theories, believed that Earth was due for imminent destruction and that they needed to transcend their physical forms to join an alien spacecraft trailing the Hale-Bopp comet. Members lived in strict communal settings, adhering to a regimen of celibacy and isolation from the outside world. However, their beliefs took a tragic turn in 1997 when, convinced that the time had come, 39 members participated in a mass suicide ritual. The bodies were discovered in a mansion in Rancho Santa Fe, California, each member clad in identical attire and wearing armbands reading Heaven's Gate Away Team. As we conclude our exploration of the top 10 strangest cults in history, one thing becomes abundantly clear. The human capacity for belief, devotion, and even fanaticism knows no bounds. From the apocalyptic visions of Heaven's Gate to the tragic end of the People's Temple, each cult leaves behind a legacy of fascination and horror. These stories serve as cautionary tales, reminding us of the dangers of unchecked authority, blind faith, and the allure of extremist ideologies. As we reflect on these chilling chapters of human history, let us remain vigilant against the manipulation and coercion that can lead individuals down dark and destructive paths. May we always strive to uphold critical thinking, empathy, and compassion as we navigate the complexities of belief and spirituality in our ever-evolving world. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe for a new top 10 list every week. Thank you for watching, and until next time, stay curious.